Life goes on too fast, so you need to stop and look around at least sometimes. Every day there are many incredible events that are not covered in the evening news, but they are remembered, surprise, and cause a smile. In this episode, you will witness the most amazing moments that were captured on camera. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to not miss our next episodes. Either some source has started to make its way through this tree, or it has stored such an amount of liquid inside the trunk for the period of drought. Flamingo just wanted to get acquainted, but stumbled upon deception and disappointment. It's hard to believe that so many little ducklings could hatch from this egg. This parachutist knows exactly what he is doing and how to impress the audience. It looks like pyrotechnics manufacturers have one less competitor. The explosion would have been terrifying if it hadn't been so bright and shiny. The pilot apparently wanted to test the limit of his capabilities, but he chose the wrong aircraft to perform such maneuvers. Fortunately, no one was injured. The wingsuit design allows one to soar like a bird or feel like a bat, but this girl went even further and she flew on the back of a skydiver. Why fix the excavator's heating system if you can resort to other ways to keep warm? And this guy is not another Spider-Man at all. We often underestimate the importance and danger of some professions. Such a silk shroud covered everything for many kilometers around. It looks amazing, doesn't it? Of course, if you do not take into account the fact that it is a web and it is covered with millions of spiders. In the past, these technologies could only be found in comics, science fiction books, and films. Very soon, everyone will be able to feel like an Iron Man. As you can see, before deciding on this, he checked the sole of his shoes and whether the laces were tied. Once in a while, anomalies appear in nature that cannot but attract attention. For example, a squall wind in Maharashtra in India changes the flow of a waterfall and turns the water flows. At first glance, the design may seem not too elegant, but undoubtedly, this is a real engineering miracle in the midst of untouched nature. Nothing can compare with the best chefs in the world, but for mass catering, the latest technologies can be very useful. Once in a while, there is news about the collapse of suspension bridges after trucks pass over them, so this bridge in the mountains is perceived as a real engineering miracle. The collapse of buildings by explosion takes a few minutes. This method is the most spectacular and effective, but it is also the most dangerous and requires careful preparation. People with a fear of heights will not be able to watch these shots. One can only imagine what an adrenaline rush the hero of this video feels. Of course, the construction of dams violates the established balance of ecosystems, but one way or another, the world can't do without them yet, so if we build something, we need to make these constructions truly spectacular. It looks like someone has been accepted into the men's club. This cat knows well that it has at least a few more lives left. At first glance, it may seem that this is a window in the cockpit of an airplane, but in fact, this is the window of a car that rides along a mountain serpentine. This girl is not only strong, yet also very flexible. Behind such a physical form is hard work and many hours of regular training. In Brisbane, Australia, a Royal Air Force cargo jet flew between skyscrapers in the central business district. This event, although planned, was very impressive and slightly alarmed the eyewitnesses. Thanks to its numerous volcanoes, something special has appeared in Iceland. Traveling in this country, you should definitely relax in the waters of open geothermal pools and natural hot springs. The wetlands park near Haeong Lake in Jiangsu province is famous for its unusual beauty. It's hard to believe that such a swampy surface can have such a stunning color. Every trip is a chance to find and see amazing beauties with your own eyes. It seems to me that people can look at the miracles of waterfalls forever. The rapidly developing Chinese architecture is admired more and more every year. Undoubtedly, on such a bridge among the mountains, right on the water's surface, you want to drive as slowly as possible to enjoy the scenery. Thanks to this experience, some people can feel like a fairy tale mermaid. Some people can be convinced of the vastness and mystery of the ocean, while others understand that such leisure is not for them. Even if it is difficult to understand what is happening in this video at first, there is something particularly fascinating about it. Sometimes the simplest things in the world bring the most pleasure. There is no doubt that tourists often ask him if it is possible to rent a boat. By using it, a boat trip becomes even more exciting. This full-scale Ferrari consists of 388,000 Lego parts. It happens that buying something in such machines ends up with wasted money, but this time they were very lucky. New York is one of the tourist centers of the world. Perhaps that's why a huge swarm of bees went there. Naturally, the lights of Times Square attracted them first. That's where they were found and evacuated by specialists. In the first seconds, it is not even immediately clear that this is a kite. The fiery phoenix stands out against the background of the night sky. It is important to note right away that this video is authentic. Some people argue that this can be a result of a lightning strike in a tree. In addition, fire inside the trunk can occur due to peat fires. Thunder and lightning in the warmer months are not uncommon. However, such a stormy sky fascinates and causes a chill on the skin. Do you know what a sea cucumber meal looks like? They feed on plankton by filtering water, and some species even catch floating organic residues in the water with their tentacles. Once here, it seems that this is a paradise. High in the mountains is a valley dotted with flowers and covered with weightless clouds. Even watching what is happening is a pleasure. Take a look at shiny snow, mountains, and a person who has mastered a wonderful winter sport and conquered the slopes. The winter road surrounded by snow-covered trees is simply amazing. I have a feeling that I got into a fairy tale. Going on a kayak trip along the river among the mountains, you can get excited about the surrounding nature, not to mention doing it in early spring when the ice becomes thin enough and melts before your eyes. Our planet is multifaceted, and there is a place for beauty in every corner of it. Frost, water, and wind create something magnificent. Even such an incredible bouquet could not make her answer yes. At lunchtime, one wants to distract themselves from work tasks, so they need something that allows switching attention. When the water level in rivers rises, it is often fraught with flooding of coastal houses. This building is turned into a watercraft and is heading in an unknown direction. That's what a perfect place for a temple means. Not only is it located far from populated areas, but it is also surrounded by stunning nature. Owners of various establishments and coffee shops use numerous ways to attract customers. Here is an unusual cafe design that looks like a sketch. Lightning has long interested people, but in our time, we do not know very much about its nature. In a split second, it would seem that magic happened in the sky. The zigzag lightning abruptly straightened up, hitting the trail of the plane. Within seconds of the lightning strike, the palm tree burst into flames and turned into a flaming torch. Even if what is happening resembles a scene from another Hollywood blockbuster or GTA, such operations are often carried out in real life. The improperly closed door of the garbage truck led to an accidental cleaning session for local communal services. Densely populated cities are often said to be like an anthill. Perhaps this comparison is more suitable for this factory. A huge number of marine animals and fish hiding under the water column have not been studied yet. At the same time, there is no doubt that some of them may turn out to be predators dangerous to human life. The soap bubble show usually becomes a real hit at children's parties. The master creates amazing works using 3D techniques. Art objects of this kind are increasingly found in popular culture, including advertising. What a great opportunity to feed hungry fish! But when you watch this video, you realize that you don't really want to be in the pond. Capable pilots can safely land a plane even in the most unexpected places. This is not a radio-controlled boot. It glides through the water in the same way as flat stones thrown into the water in a certain way. Whom can you surprise with a limo for graduation or another important event? I would choose such a festive tractor instead. This is one of the longest suspension bridges in the world. It is called the Verrazano Narrows. Just look at how it moves like a wave because of strong gusts of wind. Driving over the Napier Bridge in Chennai, painted like a chessboard, it seems as if you got into a video game or became Alice in Wonderland. Do you also think that the only thing missing here is the illumination of the ring itself? Towing several vehicles at the same time is not allowed and even prohibited. However, the way they implemented this trip is impressive. The guy learned to deftly avoid the laws of physics, so he became surprisingly accurate. Imagine the situation when you have to leave the house for a few days. When you return, you find out that it has already been occupied by other tenants. Besides, it is not that easy to get rid of them. Celebrations dedicated to an event are held in many parts of our planet. Very often, they arrange fascinating shows using pyrotechnics. This young man either has a very developed intuition or has some superpowers and a special connection with natural phenomena. The lightning has always fascinated and terrified people. At the same time, we want to hide from it, yet take a closer look. No one has been surprised by chess and checkers with artificial intelligence for a long time, but few people have played ping pong with a robot yet. A person can surpass it in many ways, but certainly not in endurance. There are a lot of amazing places on Earth, and here's one of them. Even though travelers know that the water gets such a color because of algae blooming, it's somehow uncomfortable to go into the red water. These guys combine amazing mastery of their bodies with fascinating acrobatic tricks. He has reached a whole new level of using camouflage. The people of Japan are famous for their discipline. Here is one example of an unusual reconciliation of this quality. Who would have thought that simple walking could captivate the audience so much? What could be more beautiful than a walk through such a forest, only to unexpectedly stumble upon an incredible waterfall with the purest water? The eruption of this volcano looks as if flaming sea waves are flooding the earth. Most likely, those who are nearby are uncomfortable with such a spectacle. We've all heard stories about fireballs. It is a glowing fireball floating through the air, which is supposedly able to exist for quite a long time, and when moving, it unexpectedly changes direction. From afar, it seems that the plumage of this golden pheasant is not just unusual, but consists of many cigarette butts. Now, it is not necessary to take a partner with you and row tirelessly. You can use such an assistant and enjoy traveling on the river. It seems that there is nothing unusual here, but their synchronous movements are hypnotizing. When you imagine a vacation away from civilization and closer to nature, it is usually something like that. Surely many people would like to visit a similar place in Switzerland. Despite the harmful influence of humanity, some reservoirs of the planet are still distinguished by excellent environmental indicators, and they are lucky to remain crystal clear. This is one of the options for how electric cars will look in the future. Being in the right place at the right time, sometimes you can get a real gift of fate. Just a few minutes and she will have to go through the pain of untangling her hair and doing the styling again. In the summer heat, looking at these shots, you instantly feel an icy wind. Whirlpools have always been full of myths and legends. It is not surprising because a huge funnel is in the center of a rotating mass of water, dragging everyone and everything to the seabed. It looks really shocking. A herd of goats crosses the river on the rocks in such a strange way that we can assume this is not their first trip. Experience and skills allow us not only to make furniture of any complexity, but also to create such anti-stress items. Roman Butin from Russia creates incredible miniatures. This coin is one of his most famous works. By using a sword, you can find the Holy Grail on it. The grandiose fountain show is fascinating from the first minutes. This effect is achieved by the intersection of water waves and light effects created by spotlights and lasers. If he were a surfer, such a wave would be very relevant. In this case, it's better to wait a bit. A large eagle is quite capable of lifting up and carrying away a small child. Fortunately, it usually turns out to be too heavy for the bird, so even lifting the baby a few meters is too hard for the creature. In order to be a good father and please your baby, it is enough to use a creative approach and use live fish as a massager. When you buy such a chandelier, you need to understand that all eyes will be focused only on it. This is a great entertainment option, thanks to which you can return to childhood and feel happy. If a mushroom of this color existed in nature, there is no doubt that it would be poisonous, but this artificial bright design looks just magical. This is the Kite Festival, one of the most colorful and vibrant holidays, which is held every year in the city of Weifang. According to the organizers, this year it was visited by more than 600 kite lovers from 59 countries. Traditional New Year's fireworks almost turned the holiday into a tragedy. In the Australian state of New South Wales, an explosion occurred at the annual show. As a result, a barge caught fire. Fortunately, no one was injured. Interestingly, some of the audience was sure that this was part of the performance. A special cup has been developed for astronauts that are not afraid of the absence of gravity. The Space Mug uses the concept of hydrodynamics to simulate the effects of gravity, so the liquid does not pour out of it. The question of the existence of mermaids has always interested people. Disputes continue to this day. At the same time, there are eyewitnesses or there is evidence of a meeting with them. Usually, there are very logical refutations, but there are stories that are still shrouded in mystery. When you need to optimize the space around you so that everything is accessible but does not distract from what is happening on the screen, you can use such a device. The Verrazano Bridge is the longest suspension bridge in the USA and one of the longest in the world. During strong gusts of winds, it makes sounds, moves, and acts like a wave. Being so close to a jet plane at the moment of its takeoff can have unforeseen consequences. Fortunately, the staff goes through a lot of safety classes. Fishing vessels use special nets, which essentially filter out the fish that meets on their way. When the wave reaches its limit on land, it begins to retreat back with great power. In fact, you need to do everything possible not to be in the water because you will be carried far into the ocean. The amount of time that people spend on public transport does not go in vain. Some people acquire unusual skills.